Hi guys and ladies, welcome back to another exciting episode. My name is Disama and we are in episode number 32 of the Being An Analyst podcast. Our aim right here at Being an Analyst is to inspire you with all that we are doing, with all of our podcasts, all of our training, all of our newsletters, and all of our talks. Our aim is to inspire you so that you can become an excellent expert analyst, exceptionally well expert analyst. Today we are talking about a very interesting topic. It's knowing about mastering the three key skills that can pave your way for success in analysis. It's mastering three key skills that can pave your way for success in analysis. That's what we're discussing. Just stay tuned just after our theme song. I want to take this time to also welcome new members to our community. If you are new, welcome abroad. Make sure that you also follow us on WhatsApp. We have a WhatsApp community. It's on the description. Click on it, follow us, interact with us. If you like whatever we are doing, make sure that you are able to be part of the community everywhere. If this is your first time, let us know what do you think about it. If you've been in the community for a long time, share with us what you want us to focus on. Everybody has got different needs. We are not all the same in analysis. Hence why today we're talking about the three key skills that can pave the way for success in analysis. Okay, let's look at that. We're going to be splitting this episode into three segments because we have three key skills. The first segment will be talking about data manipulation and analysis. That's our first section. Second section will talk about statistical and analytical skills. That will be on our second segment. And then the last and the third segment will be talking about data visualization and communication. Data visualization and communication. And in so doing, you'll be able to know the three key skills that will pave your way for success in anywhere else in analysis. Okay, let's start first with the first segment. Let's do data manipulation and analysis. Why is this important? As a data analyst or any analyst, qualitative, quantitative, their ability to handle and analyze data becomes very fundamental in your job. This involves having proficiency in tools just like SQL. We know we've spoken about Python. We have also spoken about R to manipulate, clean, and analyze the data. SQL, particularly here in South Africa, is widely used to query databases and extract and transform data. So if you start with SQL, you know that you are actually putting yourself in a good state. Python and R are powerful programming languages that can come equipped with libraries such as pandas, and NumPy, and SciPy, which offer extensive capabilities in data manipulation, statistical analysis, and visualization. Although R and Python are new languages themselves, if you already have a basis of SQL, you are able to actually find them quite nicely. They handle big data quite nicely, R and Python. Let's go on our side. Let's look at what does it mean to do data manipulation analysis. And I'm going to start first with SQL efficiency. So structured query language, which is SQL, As I said, it's widely used in South Africa for querying and manipulating data. Many organizations, including financial institutions, government, and agencies, and business across various sectors, rely heavily on databases that store data, manage, and also manage their data. And all of this, they do it querying it using the language called structured query language. Whether you use the Microsoft software, you use MySQL, you use a whole variety of different software or tools to actually query using SQL. It's actually up to you. Nice part about it is each one has got small variations, but if you know the basics, you should be able to run it anywhere else wherever you are. This skill is particularly valuable in financial analysis, where accessing and analyzing large data sets is a commonplace. For example, in the banking, SQL skills are crucial for analyzing customer transactional data, also in identifying patterns of fraud and conducting risk analysis. We talk about banking in South Africa because the biggest employer in South Africa are the banks, the financial services, and that actually makes it links why our banks are one of the best in the world. We actually pride ourselves with our banking. Another thing that we can look at is data cleaning and transformation. We know that in any, whether you're in South Africa or any other region, the raw data is often requires cleaning and transformation before analysis. We haven't gotten to a point where raw data itself is already ready for analysis. You still need to do some work to make sure that it's cleaned before analysis gets done. This process involves identifying and rectifying errors, handling missing values, standardizing data formats, and transforming data for analysis. So before you even start crunching the analysis, you need to actually start preparing the data. It's like when you're making bread, just making the dough, punching it, making sure that the yeast will actually take the will be part of the dough and and raise properly. So that's what it's required here. For instance, in the context of the healthcare analysis, data on patient records might contain inconsistencies or missing information that needs to be addressed before conducting statistical analysis. So you don't want duplications, you don't want nothing, or building predictive models that has got erroneous data. So you need to make sure that before you even start with all of that work, everything else that you are dealing with is already proper. Proficiency in data cleaning and transformation techniques ensures that the accuracy and reliability of analytical results, which is crucial for making informed decisions. Before we even go decision making to upstairs to the boardroom, as long as we know that you have cleaned the data, there's no duplications, we are able to make a decision. Not to say, can you go back and bring it back again next month. Make sure that everything else that you do is perfect in that way. Another thing that we're gonna let's look at Python and R skills, which is becoming very, very popular nowadays because of the way that it can handle big data. While SQL is fundamental for data manipulation, proficiency in programming languages like Python and R enhances our analytical capabilities, especially right here in South Africa. There's a huge trend where we are actually going after people with Python and R. If you can master Python and R, it becomes easy for you to tap into the data science world, because once you understand how the tool works, it becomes easier for you to understand the data science roles and process itself. Um, these languages offer powerful libraries such as pandas, NumPy, and them, which we've spoken about, and they enhance data manipulation, statistical analysis, and machine learning, which is the bigger part of it. Those libraries, they just take the software or the programming language into another level, just having those add-on. Python in particular has gained popularity in various industries, including finance, healthcare, and telecommunication, due to its versatility and rich ecosystem of libraries. For example, in the telecommunication sector, Python can be used for analyzing network traffic, data to optimize network performance and identify areas in infrastructure expulsion. This is where we're talking about companies like MTN or companies like Vodacom, especially with all the data that's coming through in the telecommunication space. They're able to make use of big data and data science techniques to actually say, oh, hang on a second, where is our golden nuggets? The other one that we have to look at is localization of analysis, which is important. This is like having the right context for your analysis. The tools, beautiful. The techniques, beautiful. But here we're talking about localization of analysis, understanding the unique characteristics and opportunities in South Africa, if you, especially because I'm here in South Africa, enables us as data analysts or analysts in general to tailor our analysis to address specific needs. So if we go over, we're using Python, and when we get maybe our linear regression is telling us one way, and then we take that and then we apply the so what using data from India or data from the USA, data from Europe, our deduction is going to be wrong and they're going to catch us out in the boardroom. So making sure that we have local meaning to say in South Africa, this is what it means. In one province like Gauteng, this is what it means. In Western Cape, this is what it means to have such correlation will also quite, work in our favor. For instance, in the context of financial analysis, us as analysts may focus on areas such as credit risk assessment for small and medium enterprises, analysis trends in consumer spending patterns, or assessing the impact of economic policies on business operation. But by contextualizing our analysis within the landscape that we are operating in, we as analysts can provide insights that are relevant and actionable for local stakeholders. So we just don't take the data from outside and we bring it back here. It becomes localized. So that's our first session. That segment that spoke about data manipulation and analysis. I hope it became clear to say this is how you do data manipulation and this is how you do the analysis itself. Let's jump to the second segment. Second segment speaks about statistical and analytical skills. First is data manipulation skills and analysis. Second type of skills or set of skills that are required is the statistical and analytical skills. On this one, this is what it means that if you come over and you start to understand statistical concept and techniques, you become much better because it's crucial for drawing meaningful insights from data, those statistical concepts and techniques. A solid foundation in statistics enables us to interpret data accurately and make informed decisions. Proficiency in descriptive statistics, which is just to say, what does the data look like? Hypothesis testing, which is like, oh, we thought that this was the cause, we found out that it's not the cause. And regression analysis that says what's having an impact on what. And predictive modeling empowers analysts to uncover patterns, trends, and correlations within the data. Predictive modeling is the one that we always go for. We like, oh, we want predictive analytics. But before we even get to predictive analytics, there's a lot of steps that we have to go through to make sure that we are in the right path. Additionally, familiarity with machine learning algorithms enhances us as analysts with the ability to build predictive models and delve actionable insights from and derive actionable insights from data itself. So, how do you get this? How are you able to do this? Let's go around 10 ways that you can you know get analytical skills. It's like this is the plug. Let's plug you in so that you always empowered. Build a strong foundation. What do we mean by building a strong foundation? Is by start by mastering the fundamental concepts, foundational concepts of statistics, including measure of central tendency. You remember those terms? Central tendency, it's all about what is the mean, what is the median, what is the mode. They used to confuse me in varsity, but if you go back to central tendency, and then you go back to variability, which is where standard deviation, variance is coming in. You can even go to probability distribution. You can go into hypothesis testing and correlation and outline, or, if you are still battling with all of this, you can't remember what happened in varsity and all of that, online courses, your old varsity textbooks, and some online tutorials can actually help us to grasp any of these concepts. So, us going into these concepts like central tendency, all of the, we can be able to grasp to say, oh, hang on a second, how do we start? Okay. Second one is practice with real world data. So I know it's beautiful to go and, we got test data that comes from the textbook, but at one point we have to go and get real world data. So applying statistical techniques to real world data sets to gain hands-on experience. This is where we go into online data sets like the one that you find on Cradle, Kaggle, Cradle. They offer us a plethora of data sets and competitions where we can be able to submit whatever we're working on for, to increase our statistical skills and learn from others. So dealing with live data, if you, say for instance, you want to work for a streaming service, if you go on Cradle, there's information about Netflix. So before you even go to the, to the interview with the competitor streaming service, might be Showmax or Amazon Prime or whatever the streaming service is, you can play around with data from Netflix and create your own dashboard so that when you walk into the interview, they can see the relevance of what you are doing on that case. After that, we can, speak about understand data types and distribution. On in the book Being an Analyst, Managing Yourself for Success and Unleashing Your Potential in the Knowledge Economy, I speak a lot about what are the different data types. That's on chapter 7 and chapter 8. That's where I delve a lot about that. If you haven't gotten the book, please go to Amazon right now and get it. Go to Take a Lot if you're in South Africa. Get the book. Please get the book. Go to those chapters. They expand a little more on this. But if you familiarize yourself with different data types, which is categorical data, numerical data, and their corresponding probability distribution, which is normal, binomial, or Poisson, we are able to gain ourselves a better competitive advantage. And besides, understanding the characteristics of data distribution is also crucial for selecting appropriate statistical tests and models. So we can't just say, I'm just going to use whichever one that I want. So we have to sit down and say which one makes sense. Let's learn statistical software, mastering software such as R, Python, and the other ones to perform complex analysis efficiently. These tools offer a wide range of functions for data manipulation and besides for visualization and statistical modeling. So we always come back to these tools, but we're not saying go there with those tools without knowing why you're going for those tools. If you know the reasons why you're going for those tools, like now, say, I want to learn, then it makes sense. You can't just start when you open up your eyes and you say, I'm going to learn Python. Within the first 2 3 days of going into the journey, you might quit. But if you know why you are learning Python and why you're not doing it in Excel or whatever the case is, it will give you much better, motivation to keep on going. Experiment with your hypothesis testing. We need to practice. We conduct hypothesis tests to make inferences about populations based on sample data. We need to say this. We're thinking that this causes this. We're thinking that this is related to that. Let's understand the logic behind hypothesis testing, including formulating null and alternative hypotheses, selecting appropriate test statistics, and interpreting the p values. If you are doing your master's or your doctorate, this is required from us so that we know what we are doing. What else can we do? Let's explore regression analysis. Regression analysis is a powerful tool for exploring relationships between variables and making predictions. We can learn the different types of regression modes, whether it's linear, logic, regression, and the application. So we can experiment with the feature selection, model evaluation, and interpretation of regression coefficient. So I know regression is quite scary. The first time I heard it was quite scary. Sometimes you don't understand it 100%, like, oh, yeah, what is this SSE over SST? Yo, R squared. Yeah, I know this thing it's, yeah, I know it's hectic. But once you understand how to calculate it, you'll be able to understand how to interpret it so that the time that something went wrong, whether in your data you included stuff that you're not supposed to include, you would more or less gauge to say, having an R that is so close or so low with this data doesn't make sense. So that's just on that one. Let's also dive into machine learning because this is where we're familiarizing ourselves with machine learning algorithm for classification, regression, clustering, and dimensionality reduction. One of the honors project that I did when I did my BCom honors in informatics, I actually looked at dimension reduction. I had too many dimensions. I have like 160, 180 dimension, and I was reducing them into little clusters so that I can say which countries are related to each other based on Gini coefficient, whatever. And I got all of those nice clusters. And it was quite nice to just go there and see what this machine learning can actually help us, and we can plug it in with live data. So you can see countries skipping, moving from one cluster to another as new data is coming in. That's actually much more excellent. It stops all of those steps that you're supposed to do. Let us understand the principles behind these algorithms, their strength, their weaknesses, and how to evaluate the model performance. Nice part is we already have multiple ways to actually test the strength of our model. Let's familiarize ourselves with those things. And what else can we do? We need to stay informed. We keep abreast of development in statistics methods and data analysis techniques. We follow academic journals. I know not everybody else wants to do that. We'll rather be watching YouTube or listen to podcasts, but academic journals, online forums, and conferences to learn more about the latest research and best practices in the field that we are in. What else can we do? We collaborate and seek feedback. This is where the forums are coming in. Engage with peers, mentors, and online communities to exchange ideas, seek feedbacks on your analysis, and learn from other experiences. In our WhatsApp group, the weekly the analyst chat, we also have people saying, "Who can actually look at my model? Can you come look at it?" And people say, "Yeah, we'll have a look at your model," and stuff like that. But that's what we are doing on our side. You can also do that. Find collaborative learning, because collaborative learning can accelerate our own progress and help us discover new approaches to solving analytical problems. So that's just on that side. Once we are done with all of this, then we need to apply analytical thinking. This is where our weekly analyst newsletter will come in handy to you, because with analytical thinking, we can cultivate a mindset of analytical thinking by approaching problems systematically, asking relevant questions, and critical evaluating data and evidence. We can do this by practically breaking down complex problems into manageable components and identifying patterns within our data. So this mental models that we keep on sharing is not just for fun, it's for actually making sure that we are able to break down things into manageable areas. That's our second segment. The third one that we're going to be looking at, because we are now done with statistical and analytical skills. Last thing that you have to look at is data visualization and communication. Why? Because communicating findings effectively is as important as analysis itself. Data visualization plays a vital role in presenting highlights in a clear, compelling manner. In the book, Being an Analyst, Managing Yourself for Success and Unleashing Your Potential in the Knowledge Economy, we spend some time in a chapter that just talks about data visualization. Chapter 8 tells you how you can do visualization, what's the worst way of do visualizing, how could you do grab people's attention. It's on that side. Data visualization plays a vital role, vital role. Having proficiency in stuff like Tableau, Power BI, or whatever, I think they call it Matplotlib in Python, allows analysts to create insightful visualization that convey complex information, succinctly. Moreover, the ability to craft coherent narratives and articulate findings through reports, presentations, and dashboard is essential for driving informed decision making across organizations. Okay, now let's look at the three ways that we can achieve this. The three ways are as follows. The first one is by hands-on practice on visualization tools. The best way to become proficient in data visualization or in anything for this matter is through hands-on practice with visualization tools like Tableau, Power BI, Python, whatever, whatever it Matlib or Seaborn, whatever libraries that you're gonna pull or whatever add-ons you're gonna pull. All we have to do is make sure that we practice. Let's start by exploring the features and capabilities of these tools through tutorials and documentation. We can do that via YouTube tutorials. We can do that via the communities themselves. If you have the time and you have the will, do that via the certification of the tool itself. Then work on real world database to create a variety of visualization, including bar chart, line graphs, scatter plots, heat maps, and dashboards. Experiment with different visualization techniques to effectively represent various types of data and convey insight clearly. So the whole point is that the insights should be conveyed clearly. Other part is learn design principle and best practices. Like I said, they're in the book. If you don't have the book, I'm just gonna say here, familiarize yourself with design principle and best practices for effective data visualization. Understand the concepts just as coding channels, which is color, size, fonts, positioning. I think they call it perceptual principles. Talks about whatever uh, uh, pre-attentive attributes, gestal principles, and on top of that, there's also storytelling techniques that you can follow. So that's what we should be looking at on this side to say, oh, what can we do to actually make sure that we are following the best practices. The last part that we could do is to develop communication skills, make sure that we are able to communicate clearly and we are heard and people can follow through whatever technical things that we just discovered, and they can be followed through into actionable insights that can actually impact operations. So, in this way, effective communication, we need to realize that it is a key to conveying insight derived from data analysis. We need to practice crafting clear and concise narratives that contextualize the data, highlights key findings, and articulate actionable insights. We need to tailor our communication style to our audience, whether it's executive stakeholders or technical teams. We need to ensure that our message resonate with whoever is in the room and whatever their interest and their objectives is. Let us incorporate data visualization into our communication materials such as reports, presentation, dashboards, and complement our narratives, and make complex information more accessible and engaging. Let us also, as much as we are sending out, let us solicit feedback from peers and mentors to refine our communication skills and continually improve our ability to convey insights effectively. So that's the three things that we have to be cognizant of for us to become better in analysis. That's episode number 32. Let's meet again in episode number 33. Stay blessed.